Hello, ladies and Metal Gen, and welcome to the Tiger review, the Tier 7 the German heavy tank. It's kind of shameful that I have had this channel for such a long time and I still haven't done a Tiger review, so here's the review, and don't bother the glitch that it shows through the tracks. I probably haven't updated the tank inspector, but whatever. So let's look into the armor. There's one thing, really important thing to mention. Do not rely on this armor ever. When you will rely on the armor, you'll fail horribly. It's 100 frontal plate, 80 side armor. No matter how you angle, you're not gonna get more than 150 on both sides. It's not possible. And the penetration that you need to pen a Tiger is the one you get on like tier fucking 5 heavy tanks. So do not bother to angle this tank too much. I mean, it's always better to side scrape out of the corner than go with your tracks first and get tracked. But just don't expect the armor to do much, so play accordingly. Try to take snapshots and peek and fuck off before they shoot you back, because the armor, as I said, but I'll say it again, will not save you. Apart from this one orange plate that is ricochet zone because it's angled too well, everything else is completely flat on this tank. When we talk about the turret, the situation is kind of similar, but at the same time you have some decent armor zones. These zones on the sides are quite good, 190. That's really good for compared to the rest of it. But the rest of it is there's some ricochet zones, as you can see. It's weird as hell. There's some as long as you get shot in the middle zone, as you can see, the fucking armor is weird as fuck. Like, you can't really predict. It can bounce and will bounce some shots, but at the same time it will not bounce the other shots that you kind of could expect to bounce. So again, not reliable, but the turret can work. Cupola armor 80, slightly angled, not gonna save you ever. So close range, if you're, well, nobody's gonna shoot the cupola, everybody's gonna shoot the flat front anyways. So that being said, don't rely on armor ever. Comparing soft stats to an IS, when it comes to the mobility, you have same horsepower in your engine as the IS, but the IS is way lighter, so power to weight is better on that, and so are the soft stats. So the Tiger 1 is obviously way slower, and it's to be expected. When we talk about the guns though, the Tiger completely wrecks the IS, everything but alpha damage, and when it's full speed moving with the gun aiming circle spread, but that's because the top speed is actually faster for some reason. Whatever. Gun depression 7 degrees to the front and to the sides, only 3 degrees to the rear. That is something to note. You don't really want to aim behind you to all that much, and only 13 degrees of gun elevation, which is not a lot as well. That being said, we are ready to go to the replay. So here we go, Prohorovka encounter, probably the easiest way to get ace tankers these days. Before we get into the game, let's talk about the stats of the Tiger. So, first of all, the biggest thing you can notice is 1500 hit points. That's the most hit points you get in a tier 7 heavy. Tog gets close, but that's tier 6, but the other tier 7 heavy tanks are around 1200, 1300 hit points. IS-3, which is a tier 7, tier 8 heavy tank, has the same 1500 hit points. So, in theory, Tiger 1, with its excellent DPM that we are going to talk about a bit later, can one-on-one any other tier 8 heavy tank as long as you are penning your shots, and as long as it's not a KV5, because those things are just gonna, they have more hit points, and the DPM on those are pretty sick as well. But yeah, 2100 DPM with stock values. It gets way better once you get your equipment and crew skills. Accuracy open 34, really good. Aiming time 2.7, not brilliant, but the tank is quite slow, so the aiming time feels better than it actually is. Damage per shot 240, penetration 203. 203 penetration tier 7 is way more than enough to pen everything really, so you shouldn't worry about too much about taking gold rounds. Power to weight ratio 12.15, which is not very good, and the tank doesn't really is not a really good sprinter, but then again it's not expected to be either. So taking my position and overlooking the cap circle here, being shot by an E25 that I cannot see for some bizarre reason, but whatever. Before I forget, equipment you use, I would recommend you to use on the Tiger. It has to be gun rammer, probably gun lane drive, and binos. The view range is 380, which does not go well with coated optics unless you have a really good crew. But if you don't, then just binos are gonna do the job just fine. You will have to stop and wait a bit till you actually can get your spotting going. But yeah, and crew skill wise, repair, Sixth Sense, smooth ride, snapshot, all the usual good stuff. So there's nothing really special about that. So the basics of playing the Tiger: you really don't want to trade shots with the Russians. You want to be in positions where you can shoot whenever you desire and not whenever your enemies peek out, and that is really unlucky. You always want to be in control of your engagements, just because if your enemy has a lot of alpha damage, you're gonna struggle to trade efficiently, even though your reload is really fast. It's like, I think you can get it like 5.9 or something like that. It's really, really good, but if you trade against tanks that do 390 damage per shot, there's no way that the DPM will save you anyways, unless you're full on trading and the guy you're shooting at is not really doing anything. Another basic thing, as I mentioned before, never rely on your armor. When you are relying on your armor, you're just not doing the right thing in this tank. It's not gonna help you, the armor. I mean, it can save you at some points, and it will save you at some points, but if you rely on it, you are not doing it right at all. And probably the most important is, do not YOLO in this tank. Try to never be in the middle of the open and spotted. It's not gonna go well for you. This tank is huge, and everybody's gonna hit you, and everybody's gonna pen you, so watch where you're going. Don't be in the open. Tank is not like some of the Russians where you can just cross middle open field. It's really fast because of their mobility, and the armor can save you as well. This thing is never gonna do that. It's gonna be tracked in the open and wrecked by tier 6s because they all can pen you. You always want to make sure that you're firing as much as you can. This gun, when it's unloading on something, that something is gonna die really, really quickly. But one thing that's always missing on tier 7s is that you don't have vert stabs, so the aiming time feels pretty bad, even though it isn't, and that's why the gun lane drive is my choice of equipment here. A bit of a stinky situation here with that E25 being able to shoot me from stealth, and all of those people in the middle trying to get me as well, but that being said, it's not horrible, and I'm still can work with my health a lot, and that's what you can do, especially when the enemies you're facing don't do that much damage in one shot. You can easily work with your health, and you can get away with that. And if you are forced to engage, try to engage 1 versus 1 and on full unload, because your DPM is gonna chew up everything at tier 8 and probably some tier, well no, not tier 9s. Tier 9s would be kind of silly if you could kill those, but tier 8s you can easily take apart before they can take apart you. There's so much hit point in these hit points on this tank that they will run out of health before you do if you pen your shots and if you're not engaging badly. 70 degrees of gun depression, as you can see, you can work with it. It's not perfect though, especially because the Tiger is such a huge tank, and as you can see from how the turret is positioned, it's like right in the middle of the tank, which makes the fight for gun depression against the terrain quite difficult sometimes. It is not all bad, but there's some positions that work in most other tanks and don't work in the Tiger, so just work from your experience and try to not make the same mistakes that you made before, and just learn the spots on the maps where this tank can work and where it definitely does not work. As long as you can stay hull down, this tank is reasonably good in city maps as well. When you start to get shot in your hull and penetrated by every shot that gets thrown your way, you're gonna run into some troubles. Now, I can easily shoot this T1 and I will. He probably will spot me, or the E25 will spot me, and as you can see, the E25 can't pen me easily. I wanted to take a shot on the T1 heavy, but that would be kind of silly because the E25's DPM would tear me apart. He's shooting my tracks and I'm shooting his tracks like 3rd time in a row, and that's not going to be the last bad shot on that E25. So finally, first penetration. I'm gonna go for another one, obviously. As you can see, the aiming time, it doesn't feel horrible, but then again I barely moved there and the aiming circle was all over the place, and that's kind of how it works. I didn't even turn my hull there, and when you start turning your hull, the aiming circle goes even worse, as you will be able to see now. These are really bad shots though. I should have pre-aimed a bit more so I can actually adjust my fire if I need to, like I did here. But yeah, Tiger 1, it's a really capable tank in right hands. It is not the easiest tank to play. It's not like most of the Russians are, where they just have some troll armor in some weird places where they just save you from death for no reason. This tank does not do that. This tank punishes you for bad positioning more times than it helps you when you are in stinky situations. So watch out from that. And as you can see, I bounced that thing, but it has 130 penetration, so you can't expect to bounce those, especially at some ranges when you angle your tank a lot and a bit. And also, it's important to note that you need to know what you're facing and how much damage or penetration the things you're facing have. I mean, if the enemy has 130 penetration, by all means angle 45 degrees or whatever, 35. But if the enemy has 175, 200 penetration, you should probably not even bother. And the only thing you should bother about is position yourself in a way that you can fuck off quickly instead of trying to bounce their shots. So this game is over for me now. The only thing I left here to do is to sit on top of the hill, be the king of the hill for the last seconds remaining. So there we go, Ace Tanker 2469 experience, Top Gun, Steel Wall, Patrol Duty, High Caliber. The only real good medal missing here is Confederate, but that's kind of hard to get with the Top Gun. 3130 damage done, 2300 something spotting. Binos on a heavy tank, this is why. I mean, the one time you want to get a game like this is completely worth all the games where you think that ventilation would be better, in my opinion. Obviously, you can think whatever you want, but the Binos for me seems way superior than just using ventilation. So yeah, that's the Tiger 1. It really is as good as your position. The better your position, the better the Tiger 1 will be. The only real downsides to this tank is giant size and the lack of word stabs, which makes the gun feel a bit worse than it should feel. But other than that, the Tiger is great. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I will see you on the next one. So in this game you're gonna see how E50M can perform as a heavy tank, and I don't think there would be any other medium tank that could do this role as good as the E50M.